explain to the audience, what is the concept of emotional impact within screenwriting? It's something that is basically your bread and butter and your angle on the craft, which is one of my reasons I love to have different points of view on the same problem, which is the craft of
Right.
screenwriting.
Right. Uh, well, that's a really good question. And it's funny because I don't know if I look at it from a point of view of an angle or a niche, even though that seems to be my niche, because I feel that
It's
it's
needed.
everything. It's
Yeah.
everything. It is the core
Right.
of storytelling, right?
You mean to
So
create
it's
emotion?
full of
No.
everything.
You mean
I mean,
to create emotions in
we're
your
not
story?
talking about the emotions of the characters,
No.
right?
Right.
We're talking about the emotions of the audience. We're talking about the emotions of the reader reading your script, right?
Mm-hmm.
So whether an actor reads your script, they got to be emotionally moved by it. If a director reads your script, they have to be impacted by it. A producer needs to be impacted by it. The film needs to impact an audience. It's everything. And not only in screenwriting, but in music, in fashion, in everything. It's like life, right? Everything is an emotional impact on the reader. And it's what makes you like something or not like something, right? You go to a movie, you say, I like this movie, or it's my favorite movie of all time. The reason it is because it emotionally impacted you more than the movie you forgot about that you saw on Netflix or whatever, right?
Mm.
So for some reason, I feel like I'm kind of surprised that everybody kind of talks about it, but not really, right? They
Right.
tend to focus more on structure and plot and characters and all that stuff. So uh, this actually brings up an interesting point about when beginners learn the craft and they write a script, they usually go in this order. There's three things, right? They start with plot. They try to figure out how to develop their plot. Then they think of their characters, right? They put the characters in their plot. And maybe they're thinking about theme, which is what the whole story is about, right? What are they trying to say with their story? And so plot, character, theme is like the process that most writers, as they start, go through. When you're an intermediary writer, right? When you know a little more, you have a little more tools and craft under your belt, you start with character, right? So you think of character, then they think about the plot, because the characters, what they do and what they want, create the plot. That's smart. And maybe then they think of theme. Theme is always the last thing. It's also the least thought subject, but the most important.
Mm-hmm.
And people don't think about this. So theme is something that I've really kind of like dug deep the last 5 or 6 years, because it's the most important thing in terms of it's what starts it all, in a sense. It's what do you want to say with your story. Now, I remember one of my favorite writers, Rod Serling, who did Twilight Zone. He's like
Mm-hmm.
a
Yeah, of course.
genius screenwriter. And he said, overall theme. So his process was theme number one leads to character, which leads to plot. So the process, and that's the process of most professional writers, right, who write great stories, is theme, character, plot, in that order. Not plot, character, and maybe theme, right? So for me, when I read scripts, when I consult or teach, and you may have a good plot, you may have some good characters, but a lot of the times we have a breakdown in theme. In other words, some maybe realize that they're trying to say something with their script, but it's not what I call successfully argued through the script. There's no thematic argument through the script, and so it doesn't work. The sum doesn't work, even though you may have great characters, great dialogue, maybe a good plot, some twist surprises. Okay, that may work, but there's something missing. And to me, theme is what takes a script from good to great. So it's like, to me, it's the most important thing. It starts with theme, which gives you characters, which gives you plot. But I'm getting a little ahead of myself there in terms of.
So
Yeah.
then, can you give us an example of a movie that really started with theme, character, and plot? Do you have any ideas?
Well, I don't know. Now, most great movies, I don't know how they started.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah,
Right
it's no
on the
way.
mind.
Yeah,
Although,
yeah, yeah.
although I can probably talk about Little Miss Sunshine, because there is a clip of Michael Arndt, the writer, who's at a bookstore, and he answered an audience question, and he talked about how he came up with the idea for Little Miss Sunshine. And for him, it started with theme. And the way he started with theme is because he had heard a quote. He had heard Arnold Schwarzenegger talk about whatever, at an interview, and Arnold Schwarzenegger said, "The thing that I despise most is losers. I don't like losers, right? It's about life is about winners and losers." And he thought that was such a
arrogant,
a despicable thing to say, right?
Yeah.
Human beings, that he had this idea for Little Miss Sunshine. Now, Little Miss Sunshine, so he started with theme because every single thing in Little Miss Sunshine is on point with theme. In other words, this is one of the best, and that's the reason why such a simple movie is so loved, because it was so thematically rich. It was on point. Everything fits together. The characters, what the characters want, their emotions, their arcs, the dialogue, the plot, everything is in service of that theme, right? Which is, what's the best way to live? Like, is winning a sign of success, or is it just, being a human being and loving your family and just enjoying it, right? So the grandfather in that movie who says, it's not about winning, it's about trying and enjoying what you're doing, right? Yes. And when you think about it, every scene in the movie fits that, right?
Especially the last one.
Yeah, exactly, right? And even simple scenes like the diner scene where they're asking ice cream. It's such a simple scene, but it's like everything about the theme of winnings and losing. And it's everything what the father says, which is all about being a winner, and everybody around them is rolling their eyes, oh, come on, and trying, so when you think about it, a story is really an argument between two sides, right? And you're trying to tell the audience which side is the best way to live. That's what theme does. It's kind of like a how-to manual for life when you think about it.
Right, exactly. There was last year's Best Picture winner, Green Book. I remember watching, I had a screener for it, and my wife and I were and we started it late. We started it late in the evening. We're like, oh, we'll watch a little while of it, and then we'll go. And we wouldn't turn it off until it hit like midnight, and we were like, we got to keep watching this. Right. So
that's the emotional impact for you. It moved you, it engaged you. You wanted to see the end of it, no matter how late it was.
Exactly.
Right. If it's scripted that, you're good.
Right. And the thing that I found so amazing about that movie, which it's not a movie that I'm going to watch 1,000 times. It's just not one of those films. Like Star Wars is one of those films, or for me, Shawshank Redemption.
Star Wars is great thematically.
Absolutely. Yeah, exactly. And Shawshank Redemption, which is everybody in the show knows my love for that film. But there's films that I'll watch 1,000 times, but that movie, the theme of it, and it was just two guys in a car, essentially. The entire movie was two guys in a car. For the most part of it, it was just like the banter between these amazing actors. The dialogue was remarkable.
Right.
And you're just sitting there.
If I said, what was the movie about for you? Like if you say, what was the movie about?
It's about friendship. It's about friendship.
There you go.
It's about friendship. It's about the battle of societal norms.
Friendship overcoming racism.
Yeah, friendship overcoming societal.
That's the that the driver takes, right?
Right, societal norms, and then on both sides, because he was an elitist. I forgot his name. He won the best actor. I forgot. There's Viggo Mortensen and the other guy. The other guy was an elitist because he was a very well-educated man, and Viggo was a street thug
and alone and disconnected.
Completely. While this guy was ignorant, a street thug, but had a heart of gold.
Exactly.
And he had a moral compass.
Yeah.
And as rough it was just, but it was so simple. It was so like a good meal, a well executed meal.
Right.
That's complex.
Another of my kind of maxims that I always tell students and clients, which is like always aim for a simple story with complex characters, not the other way around, right? A lot of people think of complex stories with twists and surprise and all stuff, and then they come up with simple characters, which is not good, right? So think simple stories, complex characters.